We're just excited about all the program success.
And we're ready to get started. Thanks, Zach. Go Cards.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler. It's time for the first Sevens edition of Between Two Props. I'm Zach Ziegler, currently joined by Wheeling University head women's rugby coach Ken Pape. And Ken, guys coming off obviously a phenomenal 15th season, undefeated national championships. Now the mood kind of switches to 7th season. Talk about the preparation for this spring season and kind of how it's been going.
Yeah, so we got started in sevens February 1st. We really came out of the gates running. We've been working in the off season and all through January in our strength and conditioning processes, and we're still to this day working it. But our phases for strength and conditioning, the first 6 weeks were a build phase, and now they're more in a conditioning phase of things. So Casey Kilbane's been doing a terrific job with them. They look sharp. Players are coming up to me, Coach, I can see my collarbone, that kind of thing. So it's kind of fun to see their excitement and their buy-in. We got out onto the field. Obviously, our rough winter, spring startup with weather, but thank God we have a really good, partnership up at the Highlands. So we have an indoor facility that we're able to use, and those folks are gracious, and they worked with us to make sure we had time on the field. But going through our paces, we've got a bunch of freshmen, so having to teach them our processes and our policies and procedures, and how we go about attacking sevens and defending for sevens, and that sort of thing it's been great. They're really learning. Yesterday was our first scrimmage. We had an inter-squad black versus red scrimmage. It was great. And the level of difference between our first seven and our second seven. First seven scored 4 tries, second seven scored 3 tries. So not a big drop off, So we're really excited to see how things go.
And obviously, seven's a little bit of a different game than we see in 15 seasons. So for those who might not be familiar, talk about some of the differences between 15s and sevens and what they're going to see this spring.
I mean, besides the obvious difference in 15 players versus 7 players, it's still played on the same size field. So you're getting lots of space. So you got those quick, fast movers. You want to be able to. It's much easier to put them into space. A lot of space to play with. Sevens is more of a possessions game than a territorial game. And we're gonna see a lot in the sevens game that's much faster. The players get tired quicker. So conditioning is extremely important in this scenario. But outside of that, the same rules apply. 95% of the rules are the same. There are a couple smaller rules. Instead of the team that scores receiving the ball, the team that scores the team that scores receives the ball and back in 15s. Now it's the team that scores kicks. So it's a make it kickoff kind of thing. So those are just some of the subtle changes. And then personnel, right? So a prop in sevens does not play like a prop in 15s, right? So we had an All-American prop in Joelle Taylor. Joelle Taylor who is in the roster, for sevens as well. She would not have a fun time like she did in 15s. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult for her. But she is so skilled and so fast and strong, so that kind of makes up for it. And we saw with the U.S. a couple cycles ago, Hope Rogers, who plays for the U.S. She's a U.S. prop in 15s. During her recovery from her ACL surgery, she played sevens, and she was an absolute monster for like 2 minutes, of the 14 minutes. So, that's kind of a page that we're stealing. We're gonna try to use those processes.
And obviously with sevens, you have a little less players on the field. The roster cuts down a little bit. Talk about some of the players here in sevens who are going to make an impact.
Yeah, so our roster's 31. We had to cut it down to 15. Some of the staples that you're going to see, of course, are Alexis Dallas is going to be on the field. Emma Ty is going to be on the field. Maya Alexander, those types of people. But just running down, we've got Emma Ty, Gemily Rivera, Marley Garrison, Jill Stewart, Nadia Richards, Dakota Burgess, Joelle Taylor will be on the side. Brand new player transfer coming from WVU, Shannon Whippy. Fast, made her mark known yesterday in our inter squad scrimmage. Really exciting to see what she can do. But Marissa Hudson, a freshman, didn't see a lot of minutes. She scored the last points of our national championship with a kick. I mean, she made the roster. Takara Nelson, Riley Bonds, Liz Sinatra, Allie Davis. Allie Davis is an absolute sevens freak. She is actually probably a better sevens player than everybody on our team. So excited to see what she does. Mariah Hurd Cruz. This is a game that's built for Mariah Hurd Cruz, who had an amazing 15s campaign. Is going to come into sevens, and she'll be a dominant player, instead of a role player here in the seventh game. And then freshman Ashley Pacheco, she had very limited minutes in the 15s season, but she's going to see some good minutes here in the 7 season, so she makes the roster. So, and then Tamsin Boyce, of course, and Bella Galata, both are, coming back and, doing some rehab. Tamsin coming back from All-Stars, and, Bella's working on a couple of things. So those two are going to be in the mix at some point, just not in the mix right now.
And looking at some of these names you mentioned, Emma Ty, Alexis Dallas, 2 leaders during the 15th season. Talk about how their leadership kind of transfers over now as you guys kind of go for the same goals here in sevens.
Yeah, I mean, the message is still the same. Emma is a great leader. She commands respect. She demands that the team does what they're supposed to be doing. And you know what? Hey, it happens. Teams are going to screw up every once in a bit. I don't even have to say anything anymore. Emma is on it, okay? So Emma leads, through power and glory, but she also is a great inspirational leader. She gets the women really fired up and tuned in. Whereas like Alexis Dallas, she's a great, obviously a great player. We all know that. She's the kind of person that'll keep it jovial and keep the players, loose, because we don't want them tightening up on us, do we? So Lex is really good about keeping that together, and she does a terrific job. And, it's going to be really interesting to see her playing with players around her that are superior. In some cases, Alexis Dallas won't be the best player on the field for us this year in the spring. Lex is going to have players outside of her that are going to be commanding the ball, and her playing as a distributor. It'll be a difference for her.
You're watching Between Two Props. Zach Ziegler alongside head women's rugby coach Ken Pape. And Ken, kick things off here on Saturday with the Frostbite Sevens tournament. Talk a little bit about that first tournament, getting out there, and kind of some of the competition you're going to see.
Yeah, so the NCAA Division II champion, AIC, will be there. Amazing coaching with T. Fletcher. I'm really hoping we get a chance to play them. They're terrific, great ball club, well coached. We're going to see Walsh. It's kind of our rival at the moment, but Walsh is well coached, and they've got some monsters out there. So, Penn State's going to be there. Westchester University, another Division II team that was a semifinalist for Division II national championship in NCAA. So we're going to get to see some new competition, people we haven't played before, which is going to be fun. But it also gets us a chance to get some more minutes against those NCAA programs. I think that's important for our program, right? Because it kind of gives it some additional legitimacy, right? I really like the idea of playing these extra teams, and we're going to try to use this momentum and to get on the schedule for those teams for the fall as well.
And looking at these schedules, obviously, same goal as in sevens as 15s. Want to get that national championship, want to get back to that top level. Talk about how your team is going to kind of set themselves up in position to do that here in this first tournament.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go out there. Sevens is a much different. It's a more finicky sport, so it's going to be difficult. It's going to be really hard. AIC is just a monster team, and they have great players and great coaching. Like I said, we're going to go out there, and we've already qualified for the national championship, the CRCs. So what we're doing is we're using these tournaments to build up. If you remember from 15s, our season started off kind of light, and then we played Penn State, boom. We're looking for the same sort of thing. Like this tournament, we're looking to build. The next tournament we're looking to build, which is our home tournament. Tournament after that, we just want to keep building. And then when we get closer to CRCs, that's when we got to really put our foot on the gas pedal and see how things go. So, I said it earlier, these first few tournaments are really for us to find out what we have. So we're going to see a lot of players in a lot of different positions doing a lot of different things. And we're going to use the game from it, analyze it, figure out who's best where, and then go from there.
And finally, talk about some of your goals here. Your first tournament out here in 7th season, first time for some of these players playing in 7th season. Talk about some of the goals and kind of what you're looking for.
So, the very first goal is to get a lot of players, a lot of minutes. I don't want to rely on our starting 7 to be – because in sevens, your starting 7 in game 1 is going to be different than your starting game in game 2, and it's going to be different from game 3. And this is a 5-game series. So we have 3 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. Our goal is, first of all, we want to come out of it healthy. That's first and foremost. And then secondly, we want to make sure that we stay inside of our system. We're going to manage our success based off of the amount of minutes that we spend in system. So, we're going to watch the game film. We're going to see when we were in system and when we were out, and we're going to look at those percentages. If we hit that 90% system mark, I think that's a big victory. That's a big goal for us. Obviously the ultimate goal is to win the tournament, but we've got some tough competition out there, and I'm not easily going to say that we're going to do it, because I don't think it's going to be an easy path. There's a lot of great teams there. So, like I said, our big goal is the 90%, accuracy for our system.
Thanks, Ken. Good luck this weekend. Can't wait to see you out there.
Go Cards.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler.
We're just excited about all the program success.
And we're ready to get started. Thanks, Zach. Go Cards.